Hello, my name is Aslan and I'm an Outdoor Program Facilitator. Today we're going to be talking about a topic that is near and dear to my heart, and that is stop motion animation. I don't know about the rest of you, but being home this much has made me look back on things that I used to do for fun that have just kind of fallen to the wayside over the years. And one of those things is stop motion animation. When I was a lot younger, my brother got a digital camera, and we would used to use it to make lots and lots of short little stop motion animation videos, and like for a year that was the only thing we did. But eventually that camera broke and that interest kind of just fell to the wayside. I couldn't afford a new camera. Years and years later though, technology has evolved to the point where you don't need a camera to make stop motion animation videos. You just need your phone. Now, if you don't know what stop motion animation is, basically it's taking a bunch of pictures and stringing them together to make an animated movie. Some popular examples you might have seen are Wallace and Gromit, The Nightmare Before Christmas, Coraline, and many, many more. Now, the first thing you're going to need to make your stop motion movie is a subject, and by that I mean kind of the stand-in for an actor in a stop motion animation movie, an object you can take pictures of to be the main focus. For me, that is going to be my rubber ducks, because fun fact about me, I have kind of formed an obsession with collecting them, and I probably own over 100. But if you don't have rubber ducks, there are plenty of things that you probably have at home that you could use too, including if you have any clay, hard plastic toys are ideal because they don't move around a lot in between pictures, dolls, action figures, even stuffed animals will do. The next thing you're gonna need is your set. Some cool things to use as background and backdrops for your set include paintings and pictures you might already have hanging around your house. Homemade drawings can be really cool for your movie, like if you make a custom drawing for your background. Blankets and sheets work really well if you hang them up or if you lay them on top of a surface to be the ground. And towels work really well for that too. Next up, how are you going to stabilize your camera while you're taking pictures? Personally, I use a phone tripod, but chances are you probably don't have one of those laying around your house. If you don't, I found that just leaning your phone up against like a full can will work pretty good and is a great stabilizer for while you're taking your pictures. The app that I'm using in this video is Stop Motion Studio Pro. It's available on a wide variety of platforms, including iOS, Android, Windows, and even on MacBooks. The Pro version, which I'm demonstrating in this video, does cost a little bit of money, but personally I've found with all of the features it offers, it is totally worth the price. So with that, let's go on a little tour of Stop Motion Studios Pro. If you click the settings icon in the corner, a couple different options will come up. The first is frame rate, where you can adjust your frame rate, and we'll talk more about what that is later. The second thing you can select is fade-ins and fade-outs. So if you want to fade in at the beginning of your movie or fade out at the end, there's a couple different options. After that is aspect ratios, so the dimensions of your movie. Next up is foregrounds, which are basically a bunch of fun effects that you can add. There are a lot of different options in this app. Personally, my favorite is the underwater one. I don't know why, but just something about it tickles my fancy. The next option that we're going to be looking at is filters. There are a lot of different filters that can change the color, the texture, the angle. There are a lot of cool ones. My personal favorite is the pixel one because I found it's a lot of fun to recreate old-timey video games in stop motion animation. The next option you have is pretty self-explanatory. You can choose the video quality. There's SD, HD, HQ, and 4K. Next is playback options. If you read at the bottom of the screen as I click them, you will see which each one does. If you click the little plus icon, a couple more options will appear. The first is add images, so you can add images from your own camera roll and import them into the app. The next is title and credits, so you can add an opening title and ending credits if you want to. After that is audio. There are a lot of different options in this app for audio. They have royalty-free music, pre-made sound effects, and also an option for you to take recordings that are already on your own device and adding them to your movie from there. Next up, if you click the little microphone, you can record your own audio in the app if you want to add dialogue or something. All you have to do is click the record icon and a handy dandy little countdown will begin to tell you when to start speaking your lines. When you're done, all you have to do is click stop and your audio will stop recording and will be added to your video. Before you take your first photo, you have to decide if you want to take your pictures inside the app by clicking the phone icon, or outside of the app by clicking the plus icon and importing them. Personally, I recommend you take your photos inside the app, because if you take photos outside of the app and import them, they are not the correct dimensions for the video, so your end product is going to end up kind of looking a little cropped like this. Before you take your first shot, survey the scene. Is everything where you want it to be? If it is, you can go ahead and take your first picture. Once you've done that, move whatever object you want to move in the next shot very, very slightly. It's important that you don't move anything too drastically because then your final product is going to look very, very jumpy. Now it's time to circle back around to frame rates. So if you don't know what a frame rate is, it's basically how many pictures per second are going to flash before your eyes. There are guidelines out there for how many frames per second you want to use in your video, but I encourage you to just experiment and find out what works best for you, because it depends on the video really. For instance, for mine, 30 frames per second makes him go a little bit fast, so let's try and slow that down. Maybe let's try 1 frame per second. How would that look? Well, now you see I've run into the exact opposite problem. This is way too slow. So maybe let's try something a bit faster, like 20 frames per second. I mean, this is better, but it's still faster than I really want. So let's try 10 frames, see how that works. Yes, that is definitely what I want. So like I was saying, just keep on experimenting and looking through the frame rates to see what works best for your particular video. Because what works best for one video might not work best for another one. The last note I'm going to leave you on is that if you're looking for a bit more of a challenge, I recommend you try and make stop motion movies using clay or Play-Doh. A lot of professionally made stop motion animation movies are made using clay, because it's very versatile and it's very fluid. However, those two qualities also make it harder to work with. So if you're up for a challenge, try out Play-Doh or clay. Well, that's it for this video. I hope you all learned something today, and I can't wait to see all the amazingly creative creations I'm sure you all are gonna make.